When I was 33, I left finance in London, thinking a slower life would fix everything. In some ways it did, but in other ways I felt I was still running. So, in London I was responsible for the Asian stock markets in Europe. So when I was 24, I already bought a house in Regent's Park. I had an amazing salary, huge bonuses. So I had a life that from the outside looked very solid. So on paper, everything made sense. But internally, I was often anxious. There was always a sense of urgency that I had to prove something. So even when I achieved things, the satisfaction didn't really stay. It would disappear quickly and I had to move to the next goal. At some point, I started to realize I wasn't really present in my own life and that I couldn't keep living at that pace. It wasn't one drastic decision. It was more a slow awareness building over time. And eventually, I left London. I moved back to Italy, Brindisi, where my family is. In many ways, life became slower and more human in many ways. I had time, I had space, I was close to nature, and basically I had a slower rhythm of life. I even started building a different lifestyle, much closer to how I wanted to live. Argentinian tango became part of my life, so I started to travel, I started to explore, I started to teach tango, and I met different people. From the outside, it probably looked like I had found a better balance, but something was still unresolved inside me. Even in a slower life, the same internal patterns were still there. For years, I called it freedom. No commitment, no limits, no responsibilities. But looking back, sometimes was just fear of intimacy. Then there was a moment that shook me emotionally, not because it destroyed my life, but because it revealed something that I couldn't ignore anymore. I had already planned a trip to Thailand for a yoga teacher's training. At first, it was just a course, but once I arrived, it became something completely different. I stopped treating it as a training or as a holiday and started treating it as a space to observe myself. Days of silence, writing, breathing, moving the body without distraction. For the first time in a long time, there was nowhere to run. I realized the real journey was not Thailand. It was learning to sit with myself without escaping. Sometimes life doesn't change you. It simply shows what you were not seeing clearly before. So I realized that changing your external life is not the same as changing your internal patterns. I don't think I changed my life in one moment. It was a process of becoming more honest with myself. Sometimes through silence, sometimes through discomfort, sometimes through relationships that reflected things back to me. And mind you, I still don't feel like I have everything figured out. But I'm no longer trying to escape my own life. And I think that's what this path is about for me now. Learning to be here. And thank you for being here.